Hello.
Hello.
Hello. What is happening? How's it going, everybody?
I do like that the intro ad is an eBay ad on our
Oh,
YouTube
was
show.
it?
Yeah. I don't know if that'll be what shows up when you guys watch it in
No, it's
playback.
different for
always
every
different.
person.
It's always random and different, but I do like that it was an eBay ad that was when we press live to go live, it shows that it starts with a little bit of a YouTube ad.
Yeah.
And I just think
I've been hearing there's been like a lot of Etsy ads out around lately. I know during the Super Bowl, we didn't watch the Super Bowl, but I know during the Super Bowl,
there were like three or four
we
Temu.
learned,
Oh,
well,
Temu.
we learned it's not called Timu, it's called Temu.
Like Shamu,
Yeah. They had like three ads.
right? It's
It's
a lot.
like, yeah. It's like
Expensive.
I think the only one that spent more on Super Bowl ads was Jesus. So,
That wasn't
Temu.
him.
Well, you don't know that.
It was the Hobby Lobby
Anyway,
guy.
no, I know. But I thought that was funny. Like, man, they're just selling hot garbage. I don't know. I feel like everybody we know.
Temu and Jesus, which one's the hot garbage?
No.
I'm not sure.
I would not say Jesus is hot garbage.
Okay,
Don't
just
say
checking,
that.
just checking.
No, I was talking about Temu. Temu. It's kind of like, when I very first started enjoying pho back in the day, and then I found out it was pronounced pho and not pho, and it took a long time for me to get used to it. Now I would think it's weird to call it pho. Anyway,
I had never even heard
Temu.
of pho when I lived in Rhode Island. It's really not a thing. I'm not to say that it's not there. Obviously, there's Vietnamese food in all different parts of the
Yeah.
country, but it wasn't a thing. And then I moved here 11 years ago, and obviously there's a huge
Delicious.
Asian population all around Las Vegas, and especially Vietnamese. And we live in a predominantly Vietnamese neighborhood now, so like there's like 10 different pho shops in a stone's throw.
which is magical for me.
But I'm not a fan of it. I taste them. I don't like it. But whatever. I think it's funny that I had no concept of what it was called, pho or pho, until I moved here. And then shortly after I moved here, somebody I was hanging out with or whatever ordered it somewhere, and then I figured out what it was. But it took me a minute.
But Temu, I think just about everybody's gone through their phase of ordering stuff off of Temu.
Oh, I've ordered a million things off of there.
I've
Sorry,
never
not
ordered
sorry.
anything. It is garbage. One out of every 20 items that you get are actually things you want to keep. It's garbage.
It's true. It's true. It is garbage. However, it is the same garbage being sold everywhere by everyone. So it doesn't matter whether you're buying it on Amazon or Alibaba or Temu or Shein or somebody's Etsy shop and lots of eBay seller shops.
Yeah.
99.9% of the highly processed, disposable, fast fashion and tchotchkes, they're all made in the same place. It's just a
That's
matter
why
of who
you buy your
advertises.
stuff. That's why you buy your stuff at the bins or at the thrift store.
Yeah.
If you want to buy a shirt for $1, get it at the freaking bins, man.
It's true.
Anyway, so we didn't have our show last week. We apologize. I know that we said we would, but then it was Super Bowl Sunday. And not that we watched the Super Bowl, which I've watched in the past. I usually enjoy it if there's people to watch it with, but I don't really care either way. But it still felt like a holiday, so we just decided, like, not a ton of people are going to be watching, so let's just not. And I think, like, you ordered donuts to be delivered.
I did. I ordered
had
donuts to be delivered, and then we had
And then we had hot wings.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Which I was actually surprised at how, like, they were busy, I'm sure, but I was still able to order them and go pick them up. So we ate wings and watched movies and pretty much did nothing. And then Valentine's Day, we don't like fully celebrate Valentine's Day. Like, I don't know. I think we both feel like it's overall just kind of silly. It's like we already have, generally as a couple, you either have like, you basically have your anniversary, whether it's as dating or married. Mm-hmm. You have your anniversary, you have birthdays, you have Christmas. It just seems silly to have, and I'm not like this it's the commercialization. They just want you to spend. I don't care about that.
Every holiday is a commercialization to spend
It just
money.
seems silly to like have another day that you like have to buy each other gifts. And like I get her flowers multiple times a year. I don't need it to have a special day for it. But so generally we won't give each other presents, but we might do something. And so we actually did like a day date. And
we worked until like 10 o'clock in the morning, got our shipping out, got some listings done, and then took the rest of the day off. It was fun.
Yep. And so, what'd we do?
We went to a petting zoo. It's basically a farm that's in Pahrump, which is about an hour away from where we live. It's in Pahrump, Nevada. Made famous by its prostitution is legal in Pahrump. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's not very big town, I guess. And Anyway, so we went to Pahrump and we went to this petting zoo where you got to go during the week if you made an appointment, and it was like $20 a person, and they give you all the feed to feed the animals.
It was supposed to be like a private, like they're open on Sundays for like a number of hours and anybody can come. And then during the week you can set up for a private tour, but really that just means you show up and they give you your bucket of feed and you just go. And it's so, I mean, I'll say, I think the animals are well fed. They're decently taken care of. They basically just kind of let you loose and there's just a bunch of animals running around. And then when they see you, the private tour actually ended up being not the best idea because we were the only ones there. And so you are attacked by all the goats.
The second you go outside, you have every llama and goat and chicken and alpacas or whatever the heck they were. All of these animals, which are lovely, one at a time or two at a time.
If you've ever been around goats, they can be super aggressive. Like they will, and part of the problem is that there were like 5 or 6 of the bigger goats that normally would be locked up in their pen. I don't think they're in there all the time. I think it's more like when there's people around because they're so aggressive. Like they're not mean or anything. It's just like I'm holding the bucket up here, and one of the bigger goats kept like jumping up on me. Vicky had like a hoof mark on her sweater. And so it was a little bit...
They're big and they jump on you. If you were a kid or you took your kids to this thing, I would say make sure your kids are not afraid of animals and they're okay with getting knocked on their asses.
Well, they didn't have a sign like any kind of release or anything like that. And so it was fun. But I actually realized, I was like, actually, I think it would be more fun to go to either bring a bunch of friends with you or go on the day when it's actually open to the public. I think actually just bringing a group of like 10 people might be better. And if those bigger,
you can split up goats, if everybody had feed in their hands, the goats would not be trying to attack just 1 or 2 people.
All on you at once. But there was a baby alpaca that was so freaking cute. There were pigs. There were baby goats.
Lots of baby goats jumping.
They didn't want us. The baby goats didn't want. They were a little bit scared of us, and so they were off frolicking and jumping together, and they were really cute. There were ducks. There was this awesome turkey that thought he was a badass, and he would get all puffed up. But the best part was he would open up his wings and drag them on there was like some gravel. And it would just make this scraping sound, but you could tell he was doing it on purpose to like kind of puff himself up and act tough. So that was pretty funny. So we did have a lot of fun. And
we did have fun.
And then we went and had all you can eat sushi for lunch. And then we came home and just watched movies again. And so we actually had quite a few no work days this last week, but yeah, it was fun for sure. And then like they also say that they have antiques, which they do because the guy used to sell on like eBay and stuff.
Because we had to ask.
Because what happens is when you go in to where you pay and then go through to the petting zoo, the farm basically.
You're walking through some guy's
through like
shed, garage type thing.
Which is like packed with just junk, but a lot of valuable junk. So it's like if you've ever gone to like kind of a disorganized antique shop or like...
it was more like going to a barn estate sale. If you've been to a barn sale, he didn't have prices on anything. It's all stuff that he had picked to sell at some point. It was a young guy. He was younger than us anyway. And he doesn't sell anymore. And he had all this stuff there. And I probably could have made an offer to buy some of it.
Which I don't know why she didn't.
There was some stuff I had some interest in, but there weren't prices, and he wasn't actively trying to sell anything. He just like...
Well, but he was like, oh, everything's for sale. So it was all in disarray and kind of in piles everywhere.
All dirty, covered in dirt and dust.
Yeah.
It was like going to a barn sale.
Yeah. So it was a little bit of a hot mess, but it was fun. And like I said, the animals, because I'm always super wary about like going to any kind of zoos or petting zoos or especially any where they're like for-profit places.
Yeah, there's one here in town, just outside of town, near Red Rock called Bonnie Springs. And I don't know if they still have the petting zoo portion open, but they did forever. And I will tell you, those animals were not treated well. I mean, they looked emaciated. I went one time when my brother and sister-in-law were in town, and I vowed to never give that place another penny.
Yeah, I always do my research, and I will never go to SeaWorld. I will never do the whole swimming with dolphins. I just won't do any of that. I just think it's just really unethical. So anytime we're going to go into anything where there's animals involved, I'm going to look and see even when we were traveling, like with cruises, we'd go places where somebody would be walking around with a giant iguana or parrot or monkey, like a really cute little monkey, and you could go take your pictures with it. And I'm like, I think that's gross because I think there's a good chance that they're not really taking care of the animal and they're just exploiting it. So I'm a bleeding heart, okay? That's
You
how I feel
are,
about
and
it.
I'm not
I have
saying there's
very-
anything. You're not going to change the behavior, and all I'm going to say is it's not the animal's fault. Like when we go to,
It makes no difference to the animal. It's not like, oh, I didn't get a paycheck today. Like, what are you talking about?
when we're going on our cruise in just over 60 days, guys, we're doing our reseller relaxation cruise. One of the stops is in Ensenada, and I will be going to look and see if the place that lets you pet the baby panthers and leopards
will
are
not
still
do it.
there. You don't have to go with me. I'm going.
Okay.
Because I will tell you, last time I went was probably 8 or 9 years ago to Ensenada, and you'd paid like, I don't know what it was. It was like $20 for 15 minutes to feed the baby leopard.
Yeah, I
And
won't
you
do it.
hold it like a baby, and I'm sorry, it was one of my best experiences
Sorry,
ever.
I won't do it. One thing I will do, because here in Vegas they have like the pet stores, which I will not buy an animal from a pet store other than Petco or PetSmart. I think in Vegas or maybe Nevada as a whole,
Nevada
they
and
They
California.
can only sell rescue cats or cats from shelters. So like they will have cats there. So totally buy a cat there. But we have lots of places where you'll see the sign that says puppies, and I will. Vicky can't do it, but can't handle it. I will
can't.
go in there because I will pet the puppies because it isn't their fault, but I would never give them my money.
I can't go and pet puppies because I want to just take them all home. So
know.
I will just like spend $20,000 at the pet store and
Nope,
buy
and
all the
never-
puppies.
You're not allowed. That contributes
So that's
to
why
it.
she can't take me.
But I go because they're each in their own separate place and they can't play with each other, but they can see each other, and so I go and I pet them so that they can get some love. Anyway, all right, that was our week. I don't know how we got off on that crazy tangent. But,
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know if I want to swim with the stingrays because I got stabbed by one. But I bet that would be fun.
I've pet stingrays before. I mean, coming from New England, so one thing I have to say is we have one of the best aquariums and zoos in both Providence and then just over the border in Connecticut that I've ever experienced in any parts of the country. But Mystic Aquarium in Mystic, Connecticut, and Tracy's in the chat, so she'll know this as well. Frankie is pretty much you've probably been 20 times in your life by the time you get out of like 7th or 8th grade, because it is a field trip thing that everyone does. So I've pet them and I've done that kind of stuff. I've actually pet the penguins and fed the baby penguins and stuff. And I've swim with the dolphins. I did it. I'm sorry. I did it a long time ago.
Never. I'd go out into like the ocean and swim with dolphins if they happen to be hanging out, but never.
Hey, Barb.
Lori, it's okay. Maybe it would be healing for me to meet a stingray. I know that they're very
She's got to
nice.
work through her trauma.
I know that they're very nice. It's just, I got into their space and got stabbed. Anyway, I guess the other thing is tonight you're going to be all on your own.
I am.
Because I'm going with
Lorna. Lorna's in the chat.
Hey, Lorna. I'm going with our friend Dana to go see Lisa Frankenstein in the theater, which I'm super excited about. I knew she wouldn't want to go. And the theater we're going to, I think, is in a mall, which I think is very fitting because the movie's set in 1989. But I'm very excited. It's Zelda Williams, Robin Williams' daughter. It's her directorial debut. And I'm very, very excited. So let us know in the chat, maybe like what movies you're looking forward to seeing. Like, I don't know if you've been to the theater recently or plan to go soon. Oh, what candy do you like to have when you go to the movies? Because
good
I'm all
question.
about, I have to get the popcorn and the soda, so I have to get that at the theater. I gotta have popcorn and soda. And then I get a big Diet Coke. And then I really like hot tamales are delicious.
You also are a little bit weird where you will not take a sip of your soda or eat anything that you've bought at the concession stand.
I'll take a sip of the soda.
Until the actual movie starts.
That's right. I won't start snacking until the actual movie starts. Not the previews, the actual movie, because I want... Don't you enjoy like eating while you're watching something, having this? It's like I want the full enjoyment during the movie.
Kat, I'm all about sneaking in the candy too. I will go to Walgreens.
I'll sneak in the candy.
I will go to Walgreens and sneak things in too.
I'll sneak in the candy for sure, but the popcorn,
I'm a rebel.
I want the popcorn and I want the fountain soda. So I
Oh,
can't really sneak
Milk
that
Duds. Hey Pam. I like Milk Duds. Is it Milk? That's the ones I like, right?
Yeah,
with
you
the
like
caramel in
Milk
the
Duds.
middle.
Yeah, you can't eat them anymore.
I can't
though.
eat them anymore. I have caps.
Sorry, Grandma.
I am an old lady. Damn. I have decided I am definitely an old lady. I can't eat the super chewy stuff because I'm afraid my flippin' cap is going to come out and they're too expensive.
The prices are...
See, I'm like Yuri. I'm like, my hot dog and nachos are gone by the time the movie starts.
No, Who wants to eat a hot dog and nachos staring at a blank screen? Yeah, the prices are ridiculous. However, I pay like $20 a month for unlimited movies, and then I also get you a discount on the snacks, and then I also get you free stuff. So, like after a certain number of points, I get extra free tickets, extra like free popcorns and different things. So it actually ends up being a pretty good deal.
Tattoos, Thrifting, and Coffee said loved Lisa Frankenstein.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm really excited. As soon as I saw that it was coming out, I immediately messaged Dana and I'm like, we need to go see this sometime in the next week or so. And luckily she followed up because I probably would have just forgotten about it and like not made it happen. And she was like, we need to figure it out when we're going.
So Yuri, I'm a lot like you. I get my popcorn and usually bring, and sometimes I get popcorn. I don't get it all the time, but the popcorn is mostly gone by the time the movie starts, or as much as I want to eat it, it's gone because otherwise it's cold, right?
Yeah. I had an ex where when we would go to the theater and we would get a giant popcorn to share, and she would sit there and eat it like before the movie even started. And then
you didn't yell at her and you let her share?
I'm sorry. I have not finished my story. She would end up eating more than half of it. And so I finally had to be like, we're getting 2 separate popcorns because I can't, because she was just like, if you want it, eat some. And I'm like, I don't want to eat it before the movie. So it was pretty funny.
And here we are.
Yeah, and we can't really share popcorn because she likes hers like extra salty. And
I've got to bring like 9 million salt packets and practically put salt on every kernel. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, Liz says that they always refill the popcorn halfway through. Well, Anyway. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, Lori says she was younger. Yeah, she was younger and dumber. She hadn't quite realized her control issues over popcorn at the movies.
No, yet. I knew it because in high school, believe me, I know, because I remember once in high school going to the movies with my friend Chrissy, and she thought it was hilarious to grab my my hot tamales and open them up and shove some in her mouth before the movie started because she knew that it would upset me. So it's been a long time, guys. It's been a long time. All right, let's get into our show. We break it into 3 parts. First part, we look at our real numbers for the last week, our gross revenue across all of our platforms, and then we break down some of the costs like the fees, the shipping, and most importantly, the cost of goods. And because we didn't have a show last week, we are going to be looking at, during the second part, our sales highlights. We're going to be looking at the noteworthy sales from the last 2 weeks. And then the last part of the show, we talk about the goals that we set last time, how we did with that, what we want to do for the next week. And we talk a little bit about our kind of topic for the show that I never tell Vikki what it is. And I just make up a title. And
seriously, I never know.
I think she'll get this one.
2 steps forward, 3 steps back.
I think she'll get it once we get started here. But let me... Whoa, what just happened there? Let me go ahead and share the screen here. We're going to look at my numbers. So eBay's actually been doing pretty well for me. Been going pretty well. This is like one of the best. I don't remember what it was exactly the last show. But I've been consistently getting at least over $1,000, which for a lot of weeks last year, I couldn't even do that. I was getting like 700, 800, if I was lucky, 900. So my eBay actually has been responding well to the different way that I've been listing and keeping our store active every single day. And last week I actually did about this. Plus I had a lot of sales on my other platforms. Like I had 10 Etsy sales, whereas this week I only had 3, but 28 eBay orders, 3 Etsy, 6 Poshmark, 4 between Grilled, Mercari, and Depop for a total of 41 outgoing orders. So I've been keeping that number going up, I think. 15, 11, 10 on eBay, 138, 18 on Etsy, which is pathetic. 254 on Poshmark, 285 between Grail, Mercari, and Depop for a total of $2,188.28. My shipping, $165.52. My cost of goods, $135.
See, that's what I like to see. Okay, so because you've been changing everything over the last 5 or 6 months, your cost of goods has dropped so dramatically that your net profit, even though your sales are not up wicked high, they're higher than they have been, and your cost of goods are lower, which means you're still putting way more money in your pocket, and keeping a really good gross average sale price.
Yep. So my gross average sale price, $53.37, which is awesome. I want to be able to stay at about 50 and above. And then my net average sale price, $39.14. But what I was saying is that like last week, I had probably around the same number for eBay, but my other platforms were popping off. Like I had 10 orders on Etsy. Poshmark, I had multiple orders. Grailed, I had multiple orders.
Popping off?
Yes. Grailed, I had multiple orders. Mercari, I had multiple orders. Depop, was pretty much the same. But last week was actually a really good week. Not good enough for me to not want to skip the show, but so I could show off my numbers. But the whole, like, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, it's like I feel like things are going well with my eBay, but then I can't get my other platforms to cooperate. And it's like you're finally having a good week for me anyway, and then the other platforms take a crap, and it's like I'm really
It's a struggle.
just
It's a
right.
struggle.
I want to have like a freaking amazing week across the board. Hit 3,000.
I did in
gross
December.
sales.
I did in December. Our vacation week in December was like the best of my entire 2023. And yeah, I've been slowly going down ever since. So.
But overall, I'm feeling hopeful. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm feeling good about. I feel like my eBay's had so much more activity to it, so hopefully that keeps up. And Etsy's a weird platform where it's like you'll go for a week or even 2 weeks of barely any sales, and then all of a sudden it'll be like, oh, here's 5 sales in a day. So I don't know. Anyway, let's look at yours.
That's very eBay. And Etsy. Mine are not great either. So I had 29 orders on eBay, 11 on Etsy, 6 on Poshmark, 3 on Mercari, 1 on Depop, and 1 private order, which I did through a Facebook group. So 51 total outgoing sales, 1285 on eBay. That's my week.
So I did beat you on eBay.
Yeah, my eBay sucks balls. Not gonna lie.
Sweaty balls.
I don't know. Again, all we could do is complain, right? So I'm sick of complaining about it. It is what it is. I've still been listing 15 brand new listings from scratch every single day, 7 days a week, since the end of October. I have missed one day.
Yeah.
One day since the end of October where I didn't do any listings. Okay, so Etsy, $5.91 and change. $292 on Poshmark, $194 between Mercari and Depop. I just brought Depop back, so I only have about 40 or 50 listings on there, and I have about 2,000 to get over there. So we'll see what happens. And then, so my total was $23.93 and 35 cents, $228 in shipping, and then you see the breakdown of all the different things. My cost of goods always is relatively low, $97 my total cost of goods, and I actually had one item in there that was $20 as my cost. So that just tells you I pay very little for my cost of goods. So my total net, $17.76, and my gross average sale price is a little bit low. I've had a lot of low sales. I've, again, taking some of the money all of the time. I'm accepting almost every offer, unless it's a $10 offer on a $100 item. I'm not that ridiculous. But if it's, $25 and I have it on sale and I really want to make $35, I'm like, okay, I'm almost always taking that $25.
Yeah.
So anyway, so down to an average of $34.84, my net average sale price. It's not terrible. It's not terrible.
Well, here's the thing. It's all relative because for me, I'm looking at my week, which I did slightly less than Vikki overall, and I'm feeling good about it because for me, my numbers are creeping up. My 30 days I'm still up 30% for my last 30 days on eBay, or 31 or however it is. My 90 days, I'm up quite a bit. I'm up higher than I was ever any time last year.
That's
so
good.
for me, I
you.
am on a slow upward trajectory. So I look
I
at
am
my
not.
listen to me for a second. I look at my week and I'm like, oh, I had a decent week. I wish it was better, but I had a decent week. Whereas Vikki was like, mine was terrible too, and she's still making a little bit more than me. However, you got to remember that Vikki is paying somebody to do her pictures, and she's got money going out to somebody who's doing her pictures and measurements and doing drafts. She's got money out to somebody doing cross-posting. So her costs that aren't reflected in this are a lot higher. And so for you, it's
my
like
average,
having your numbers
right.
down
I
is
will
really
say
hard.
my average cost will also be, unless it's hard goods or linens or shoes, my cost on clothing items, add $3 for every listing. That's it's a $3 expense for me for every listing. And then,
Actually, put more like 4 because you're doing
4 if
cross-posting.
if you add the cross posting to all the different platforms. So $4 for every listing. So take another 200 and change out of that total is really it,
Yeah.
So
we're kind of like in different headspaces about our reselling, I think.
and I think here's the thing: if our businesses were combined, there is no way we'd be complaining about $4,500 to $5,000 a week in sales. We wouldn't be. Combined, that's what we're bringing in. But our businesses are not combined and our finances are separate still. I know we're married, but you know what? We both lived as independent adults for many, many, many decades. We're not 20 years old. So combining finances at this stage in our life is not
But we have a lot of costs.
Really
Like we've
feasible.
talked about this before. You know, depending on where you live and what your situation is, like your overhead is going to be very, very different.
We pay
And so-
we pay almost $3,500 a month. I don't mind to say it.
No, right.
$3,500 a month is our rent for this house.
yeah, and then when you
Now
add
this
in, like,
house is also used as
We use a write-off
two
part of it.
businesses and storage facility and everything that we need for this business. But $3,500 a month is a really big nut, and depending on what side of the country that you're on,
yeah.
that's where costs are really, really high. Now, there are plenty of people that live in the Midwest or in different parts of the South where that is 3 or 4 times the amount of housing costs that they would have paid. And I understand that. But that's not the reality of where we live.
Yeah, but
So-
and then you add in like car payment, car insurance, and
we do
gas,
only have one car.
electricity. Like there's so many things that once you add up, like just what paying our basic household bills, and then you add on top of it other bills that we have that we each separately have. It's like there's a lot. There's a lot. And I'm still
Student
I'm
loans,
Still paying,
both of us have student loans.
I'm still paying off my my IRS bill for last year, which I have a few months to do that, but it's like so there's all these things. It's not just like, oh, I made this much money, I wish I made more. It's like, no, there's something breathing down your neck that like, oh, I got to pay this, I got to pay that, I got to pay this and that and that. And
yeah, everybody has expenses and costs of living, and that we're no different than anyone else in that. I think it's very relative as to what your expenses and cost of living may be where you live, and depending on what you do for a living, and all those different types of things. So,
and then if you have 3 asshole bougie dogs that want to have good food, and I tend to
right, medical insurance, all that kind of stuff.
And now Grizz has a heart problem because she's an old lady dog and she's healthy, but she has to take a pill twice a day. And I just went to Sam's the other night, Sam's Club, because that's where I can get the cheapest version of it or the cheapest deal. And it's still every 50 days, it's like $70. And it's like, and then their food, and then their little pee-pee pads, and then they have like freaking 5 different supplements they have to take now because they're old. And
they're old like us. I have like 5 different supplements I take too, so
yeah, car insurance here is very high because
it's one of the highest in the country actually.
Because you one day driving around Las Vegas and you'll get why lots and lots and lots of accidents, lots of uninsured drivers, and all those things add up to super high cost of for car insurance. And then also, this is something that was really weird that I didn't know until I moved here. In Oregon, once a year you have to register your car. And in Oregon, it costs the same whether you drive a jalopy or you drive a super fancy, super expensive car. Everybody pays the same. I don't know. Maybe it's $100, $200. I don't know exactly how much it is. In Vegas, in Nevada, and some other states, I feel like you're being totally...
you're paying taxes on the vehicle when you purchase it, and you're paying taxes on the vehicle every single year when you register
But
it.
it's based on the value of your car.
Right, so
if you have
$600 and something dollars a year.
If you have a piece of crap car, it's going to be very low. But when you buy a brand new car, let's say your car's worth $50,000 or even more, every year it goes down every year, but it's like
a little bit.
I think what we pay this year,
$675
this year.
That was in just last month.
Register our car, and I don't get how that's legal. I feel like you already paid sales tax on your freaking car. Why are you paying another tax?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It's hot garbage. I mean,
It really is.
That's my phrase for today. Hot garbage.
Everything's hot garbage today. So yeah, I mean, we can all complain about expenses. That's just reality, right? So we're not here to tell you that we are building transactional or generational wealth by selling shit on eBay, because we're not. We're just paying our bills, guys. Paying our bills and being allowed to take little vacations here and there and take care of our old lady dogs and not work 9 to 5 for somebody else. I mean, that's really what we're doing.
It's true. It's true. I mean, we're really lucky. I mean, I probably put in like a good close to 50 hours a week working, if not more, 50 to 60. But then it's like, because of how we work, we get to move our time around however we see fit. And I can, have 2 full days where I'm just laying around doing nothing.
And I will tell you that, and we'll get into the rest of the show in a minute, but I will tell you that here's the thing. Some people in the chat know this. In fact, I think a lot of you know this in the chat, but Tuesday is the 21st anniversary of the Station nightclub fire. So I would be remiss in not recognizing that right now. But many of you watchers that know us and know me for a long time know that I'm a survivor of that fire. And I've been working with the burn community and burn survivors as an advocate for 21 years ever since then. And I will tell you that the anxiety and the PTSD and the trauma and the things that I deal with, especially around this time of the year and in other different parts of the year, make it nearly impossible for me to hold down a 9-to-5 job somewhere else right now. I can't imagine it anymore, and I'm not sure I could.
Well, you can just be like, I've had it today. I'm getting into bed. I'm taking my pants off. I'm getting into bed. I'm watching TV. I don't care.
And that's really what it is.
You don't have to call in.
I don't have to call in. I'm pretty much unhireable. So, I live my life in a way that I try to reduce that type of stress and anxiety on myself. Yeah. And everybody sells online for a variety of reasons. We've talked about this many times. A lot of people have mental health issues. I claim that. But they also have physical issues. They're caring for ailing parents. They're caring for special needs children or family members. There's many, many reasons why people cannot hold down a traditional 9-to-5 job. And selling online or being an entrepreneur like this does allow us some freedom and flexibility with our time and our hours and some control over that environment. And people that live with a lot of anxiety, debilitating anxiety, myself being one of them, I've learned to control it for the most part. But when you live with a lot of anxiety, being able to control your environment is a really big portion of being able to conquer that anxiety, right? So if you know, you know. So that's really what it is. So it's being able to have this job and work when I want and how I want is very important to me.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into our sales highlights. Again, this is for the last 2 weeks. Seriously, I had a good week last week. When I was adding up my other platforms, I was like, oh man, really did this terribly. Like, what happened, guys? What happened? Mm-hmm. What happened, Etsy? Why you gotta do me like this? But how'd you do? What's going on here?
So this I picked these up. I honestly don't remember where I was.
I feel like you got them at the bins.
No, I got them in a bag of stuff. I got them in a bag. They were in a bag on the wall, but I think it was either at Savers or one of the thrift stores. I might have been with Liz. This might have been a Colorado buy. I do know that I only paid $3.99 for them. And some of them could sell for like $20 or $25 a piece. I have some Scentsy products. I've purchased some Scentsy products. But by the way, as somebody who does not like candles or open flames, I personally really love Scentsy as an option. They're melted. It's melted wax candles. They're lit by a light bulb, and they're very safe. Anyway, I didn't know they did solid perfume sticks. I didn't even know that was a thing. I don't remember ever seeing these, but they're discontinued. They don't sell them anymore. And so I just lauded them all together. I had many, many lowball offers over the last few months, and people asking me if I would split them up and sell one scent or another. And I was like, ugh, forget it. No, I'm just selling as a lot. But they finally sold. I paid $4. They sold for $75.
That's really good. It's very good. And
super easy to ship and list, obviously.
All right, first up for me, you guys know that I keep buying I did not sell it for that price, first of all. But I don't really like to sell kids' clothes, but when it comes to vintage kids stuff, it's so freaking cute, and I feel like it's made it this far, and I can't stand the thought of it getting thrown out. And so I buy stuff against my better judgment sometimes just because I'm just saving it. I'm like, maybe someday somebody will come along. Anyway, so I had gotten this freaking adorable little Jane Fonda workout shirt for, when you want your infant to have like those abs of steel, little baby 6-pack. And it was stained, and I tried to get the stain out. Obviously, it did not work. And so...
But come on, how cute is that thing?
So I've been pretty aggressively sending out offers, especially anything that I've had for like a good, at least 3 to 6 months. And I sent an offer out for $35 and somebody bought it. But I got this at the bins. I probably didn't even pay 50 cents for it. So look at how freaking cute it is, though.
It's stained and kind of gross, but God, it's cute.
But it's a little baby Jane Fonda workout. Come on.
That's cute. All right.
I picked this up at Dickies.
I know. I picked this up at the bins. And that's the only reason why I got it, was because it came from the bins. I wouldn't have picked this up at a thrift store. I wouldn't have paid $10 or so. Although, if you look at the price I got for it, which is the price you see there, I probably paid $5 or $6 because this was bulky and heavy. It's like quilted. It's the winter Dickies jacket. It's not vintage. But it's etched and embroidered with the Laborers Union, which is the Las Vegas Labor Union. And I haven't had it that long, maybe 5 or 6 months, and it sold for the price you see there. I'm running a 30% off sale on my store. It sold for $84 plus shipping, and strangely, it did not sell to Nevada. I figured it was going to sell to someone in town, because I do often sell Las Vegas items to people in Las Vegas.
Yep.
But it went out of town.
My favorite acronym,
I don't know what the hell that stands for.
Snelexet.
I didn't look it up. I probably could have, but whatever.
Snelexet.
I don't know that it was worth looking up.
All right, next up for me, look, Adrian, I sold another baby thing. I did not sell it for that price again. Now, when it comes to Oshkosh made in the USA stuff, that stuff I will always get no matter what, because it does sell.
That's cute.
I had prices pretty high.
This is when we both found a whole bunch in 2 different bins one day.
Yep. I had priced this one pretty high, and I had a lot of interest, but I finally sold it by sending an offer out for $75. But again, I got it at the bins, and it was really small. I did not even pay $1 for it, and I got $75. But yeah, anything Oshkosh B'gosh made in the USA, if you get a really good price on it,
so cute.
Even without knowing, I mean, there's definitely like ones that are really go for a ton of money because they are very hard to find, but you don't have to be an expert to at least know, like, if you're getting a good price.
If it's got the paper tag and says made in the USA, just get it.
Just get it.
That's really it.
For sure.
Yeah, that's cute. That's cute. I got this. I did get this our last trip to Colorado. So
it's like
this was
Goth
from
Cowgirl.
October, November. When did we go? I don't remember anymore. I did pay up for this one. This is the one item that I actually paid $20 for. I have it in this color, and I also have it in a teal green. Same size, same dress, same brand, just 2 different colors. So some cowgirl from the 80s donated their shit. And I just thought it was super cute. I actually expected that it was going to be worth way more and sell for way more. The unfortunate thing is it's pretty common. This particular dress and this brand, there's a lot of them.
I like the gothic cowgirl.
A lot of people are selling them in the $50 range. So even though I had priced them high, I fully expected it to sell higher on Etsy. But I got an offer for this for $80. I did actually take the offer because, again, some of the money all of the time. And it pains me to do that. But I also know that I probably got a good $20 more than most people did. And it's small, but I'll tell you what, Crystal, if this thing had fit me, I might have kept it. I don't know where the hell I would have worn it, but it's cute.
Very nice. All right, next up for me, so this is actually from our friends Joe and I'm telling the story.
Sorry.
So freaking rude.
I am.
Anyway, from our friends Joe and Robin, Vicky was going to buy a bunch of stuff from them, and they did a video call, and they had some t-shirts that I was able to get, I think, most of the t-shirts. And anyway, it was like $5 a piece, I believe, right? And so I did list it high just because there's not any other stuff I could find online of like bunny.
Now, it was really gross though. You got it.
Oh, it was so yellow. It was so disgusting.
They had got it at I think it was a storage unit, and
it was so
everything
yellow
in the unit was
so
gross.
So I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get it clean. It's just like with the Jane Fonda baby workout thing. It's like you're always taking a risk when it comes to when something's like really disgusting, because it's like if you don't know exactly what the makeup of the stains is, you aren't necessarily going to be able to get it out. And so, but luckily I was able to. I washed it, I bleached it, and everything came out, and it was in really great condition once I did that. And so I did not sell it for the price you see there, but I did sell it for $85. And so I was happy with that because, I mean, come on. And again, like what Vicky said, Second Sports little tagline thing he says, was it?
Some of the money all of the time is better than all of the money some of the time.
Exactly. And so I'm like, I paid $5 for it. And
I sound like I'm in a cult because I keep repeating that all the time. But it's really I'm really trying to drill it into my own brain because clearly it is a mantra that works.
Well, and it's certain things like, first of all, I've been pricing things a lot lower to begin with, but there's going to be certain things like this where I'm still going to price high, but I have to think like, okay, I'm going to give it like a month or so, maybe a month, a few weeks, so that like those people who are paying attention, if there's somebody who's willing to spend the money on it, they can swoop in and get it for the high price. And once that time's up, I'm just going to send out like ridiculously aggressive offers. And
No,
so
that's
to
fair.
me, $85, I made some good money on a $5 investment. So
Yeah, see, Kat, keep telling it to yourself. It's important to keep repeating things, right? I will say, I did want to say quickly, if you guys can go ahead and hit the like button, I would appreciate it. We have about 118 people watching and one thumbs up. So either 118 of you
that's
guys.
not accurate though. It doesn't show, it doesn't
Really
show
hate
it in
us.
real time. It doesn't show in real time.
Anyway, I've had this for quite a while. I go back to the top on this one. It sold actually within about an hour and a half of me listing it. This is not as I showed it in a haul, and I did bleach it. Unfortunately, a lot of the spots were not able to come out. It had a lot of like darker. They look almost like mold or just age spots on this.
Right.
So I did take an offer that came in for $100 about 20 minutes after I'd listed it. I didn't even get a chance to cross post it anywhere. I was perfectly happy taking a $100 offer because really I thought it was going to stick around for a lot longer. So ooh.
Dynasty, you are watching live, you weirdo.
So it sold for $100. I had picked it up at the bins, but I'm not sure which bins I got this out. I have had it for a few months. It took me a while to get it listed in between changing listers and all that kind of stuff. But finally got it listed and sold.
Yeah, nice. All right, next up, now, I don't know if Jen Goodell is in the chat or not. I'm almost positive I actually got this at the bins, but there's a slight possibility that I did get it from Jen, because I did buy a bunch of Western shirts from her, but I'm pretty sure I got
I think this one is
at the
from the
bins when I had found like a little pile of Western shirts all with hangers on. And I think that's where I got it. So if I got it from Jen, I paid $10, $5 to $10 for it. If I got it at the bins, I paid like $1.50. Okay, not her. So I definitely got it from the bins. Sometimes, especially when I'm sourcing more stuff now, it gets lost.
Confusing.
Yeah. So I paid like maybe a little over $1 for it, and it actually sold for $97.99. And now if I listed this today, I mean I listed this maybe within the last few months, but if I listed this today, I actually would have listed it to be on sale at $69.99 as opposed to $100. So glad I sold it for this price, but I'm trying to price to where my stuff is actually moving. I'm at the point now, I'm over 3,000 items in my inventory. I don't need to have necessarily a much bigger inventory, maybe 4,000 at most. I need stuff to be moving faster.
Yeah, I'm between 4,700 and 4,800 items, and as much as I have been adding and listing, I have not gone much over that 4,700, except for these last 2 weeks because it's been pretty slow. So I've been almost selling almost as many as I've been listing, which is where you really want to be. In fact, you want to sell more than you list. That's the ultimate goal, obviously. But you don't want to I don't want to have a showroom.
Yeah. I need to be selling stuff faster for sure. And so I need to be pricing better. I don't have any plans to eventually have, 100,000 items in my inventory to get that big, but I do need it to be more successful and moving faster. And I'm working on that. And it seems to be, my store and my sales seem to be responding to that. But I will take $100 sale on a shirt.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, some of you may recognize this. As a matter of fact, I purchased this from the bins. I got this when Ryan and Allie were visiting here. So that's how long I've had it.
Oh, yeah.
I purchased this. I didn't show it in our haul, our thrifting battle that we did with Ryan and Allie.
Which I don't know why.
I don't remember why.
Instead, you decided to be an asshole and show the exact same type of thing I was showing when you had way cooler stuff.
All right. Anyway, I picked this up at the bins. I probably paid about $2 for it, maybe $3. I think it weighed over a pound. And it did sell for the price you see there. It sold immediately when it was not on sale at the time. It was like I usually try to let 12 hours go in between my sales on eBay, and the sale had ended, and it sold right after the sale had ended. So yeah, I paid like $2-3. It hasn't been listed that long, 3-4 months or so. And yes, oh yeah, neon everything with this, Lori.
LA Gear high top.
Pink. Oh no,
with the neon.
No, peg the ankles. Neon pink pumps.
Yeah.
Neon pink pumps would have gone with this.
And wear LA Gear high tops that are white with neon laces.
Anyway, it was very cool. I hope somebody out there is rocking this because I thought it was really, really cool. And it's not even like a great brand or anything, but it was just a cool jumpsuit.
Yeah, for sure. All right, check out what I sold, guys. So if you watched, I think we had one haul video last week, I think, and this was one of my items. I got this at the bins, Aviator Nation, which I was very excited to find in the bins. And I priced it at $139.99. Some of the pricing now, this particular one is from. It's like it's like a collab with Global Citizen, which is like a nonprofit that does like activism stuff. And so I put it at $139 because I did find a comp for one that had sold for $150, but there were others that were lower priced. So when I got an offer for $100, my first instinct was my old instinct. I wanted to I'm going to go back with $130. And I'm like, what am I doing? I got it at the freaking bins. I paid like $2-3 for it. Why not do a quick flip for $100? It's silly not to just go with it.
You didn't even have it listed a week.
No, and I was happy to let it go. It's just, so just make sure you keep on a lookout. Anytime you see Aviator Nation, always pick it up. That stuff sells.
Show that second to last picture again. That's what the logo looks like when you see it. It looks almost like the New Balance logo, but it's just the N, not the NB. Mm-hmm. And it has the rainbow. So the orange and a lot of their stuff has rainbow. Like these stripes, these kind of rainbows, or it might be like, what's it called when it's like different shades of the same color? Gradient shades.
Shading. Like stripes. Like it'll be like light blue, darker blue, So,
monochromatic shades.
Yep. So anyway, $100 guys for a zip up hoodie.
All right. So this one took quite a bit to sell.
I remember this one.
So I've had this for a while. Crystal actually sewed the 2 patches on the front onto it for me. I had some vintage patches. I actually keep a lot of vintage patches. And it had staining, and I didn't want to not sell it because of the stains. Yeah, so it's a little off-center, as you can see, but it covered the stains, and it looked better than the stains. So I did pull this out of the bins. It is missing a hood. You can see on one of probably the back photo of the back of it it might be the first photo. You can see that there's supposed to be a hood.
You can see it. Right here.
And it's vintage. However, it is not like 50s vintage. I do think still to this day that it is some type of repro vintage of it's of a souvenir jacket. It's not 50s. And I don't think that this is necessarily a genuine 50s tour of Okinawa and Japan. I think it's a repro of it, but it is still a vintage jacket. That's why you don't see a decade at the top there. So I was pretty happy to accept an offer on this for $200 because it had it for quite a while. So it's gone. $200. I probably have $10 into it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice. All right. Next up for me, look, guys, I sold a Melrose Place leather jacket. I've had this for quite a while. I've probably had this for a couple of years. And I've, sent out so many different offers and tried to get, a decent amount for it. And it was hard to when you have something like this, it's like actually a really nice vintage leather jacket. It's hard to go too low in the offers. I probably didn't pay more than like $10 for it. I would have gotten it at a thrift store. But it was one of those things where I randomly got an offer for $126 and I was like, I will take $126
on $139. Yeah. I love when they send really, really reasonable offers.
Yep.
That was a 10% off.
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't mind waiting for the sale because it's a heavier item, it's a higher quality item. I didn't want to sell it for $50 and not make any money on it, and I didn't mind having it in my inventory for a while. And so now somebody, they paid some real money and they got a little piece of history. So I think it's cool.
All right, so this is a lister that I don't have anymore. As you can tell, everything kind of leaned, but anyway. This was a bins buy. I believe this is a Colorado bins buy. And it sold for the price you see there, $63. I do like the IOU stuff. It's not, I would have held out for a lot more money a while ago, right? I just would have. But $63, I'm pretty happy to take. Now, see all the little pills there? Katie would have taken a sweater shaver and spent an hour doing that. I don't do that shit.
It doesn't take an hour. It takes very little time, and it is a huge improvement to your item. So you just have take no pride in your work, Victoria.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, it was a nice looking, like the mock neck on it, everything. It's pretty cool. Yeah. 90s, example of 90s. But it sold for $63. And actually, this went to Canada, so the buyer did pay shipping. So I do a lot of free shipping on Etsy for clothing just because I get higher prices on Etsy and the fees are lower. So and you're not paying for promoted listings the same way. So again, I factor that all into my pricing. So most of my stuff sells for higher. So it's easier for me to, offer free shipping on clothing on Etsy. I've just created shipping profiles there.
Also, Allie Roots and I both agree that it is so relaxing. It's like meditation to take like a super pilly sweatshirt and to sit there and depill it with a sweater shaver. And it's like seeing it go from this raggedy looking item to like almost brand new again. And then at the end you get to empty out the little thing and it's so full of like all of the stuff. It's great.
Look at Mo in the chat. Waste not, want not. Mo, it's good to see you in there. Has Linda moved full time to California? I think that's what I saw in your posts, or that's what I assumed from your posts. I hope that's the case. I like to think of you guys not being separated anymore.
Absolutely. Also, now Jen is a sweater shaver fan. The sweater shaver I have now is a double header, and it is amazing. I love it. It's my favorite thing ever, and it works so well. I did a sweater shave on a sweater yesterday, and I had to empty that thing like 5 times, which was very satisfying.
Oh, dear God.
Okay, very satisfying. No pride in your work. Disgusting.
I used it yesterday, too.
Whatever.
For like half a second.
Whatever. All right, so this isn't like a massive sale, and Jen's here. So, Jen, did I get this from you? I think I might have gotten this from you. So I paid like maybe $10 for it, $5 to $10 for it in a big purchase. Either that or I got it at the bins, but I think I might have gotten it from her. But the reason I wanted to show this, I mean, it's a cool sweatshirt. It's like it was a nice heavy reverse weave.
Not from her.
Okay, so I got this at the bins.
See, it's all running together now. You don't know where you're getting anything.
Right?
You're like me.
Well, because the stuff I get from her is very similar to some of the stuff. Anyway, because she knows what I like. So then I got this at the bins, but it was pretty heavy, so I paid at least a few dollars for it. And it's like a reverse weave, even though it's not Champion. And so I had it priced up a little bit, and I sold this on Etsy, but like last week I got an offer on Posh for $10, and I'm like, yeah, that's not happening. So I countered. I think I had it priced there at like $70. I countered like 60, and then they like countered 15, and I think I just said that, yeah, I'm not selling it for that much. And then they like, LOL, see you again in 2 years, like.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't going to be able to sell it.
I love that flex. I'm the petty Betty bitch that I really want to like take screenshots, and I have done this, don't get me wrong. I'll take a screenshot of the sold price on the other platform or on that platform, wherever it happens to sell, and be like, yeah, missed out.
Yeah, see, I don't even bother giving
I know,
them
we
energy.
talked about this last week. You don't give them that energy, but I'm the petty bitch.
But petty it doesn't work if it doesn't actually do anything.
It makes me feel better.
Whatever.
That's what it does.
I feel better because all that matters is that I know, and now I'm telling you guys. But they said, see you in 2 years, like I wasn't going to sell it. And then they came to me on Etsy and sent me a message, and they wanted it for like 40, and I said I can do 50, and they were like, okay, that sounds fair. And so sold for $50.
All right.
Like, oh yeah. Ooh, look at these fancy pants.
I think you got these for me.
Probably.
I think you brought these to me either from the bins or from yesterday's fits.
See, and I wouldn't do that now. I keep these for myself.
Now that you're selling pants again. Mm-hmm. But I haven't had these that long. As a matter of fact, I think they've only been listed for a couple of weeks.
What is wrong with me?
And they sold for $70.
They're awesome.
They are pretty awesome. And they sold to somebody. They sold. No, you would not.
Yeah, I would.
I would not let you. And they're also a size small. So thank you very much.
If they're my size, anybody has pants like this, my size, send them my way.
And I will pay you not to. And so anyway, they sold for $70. They actually shipped like to the best location they could have gone to. They shipped to somebody in Pismo, California. So
nice.
Pismo Beach.
Nice.
Is the Musclehead Beach from the 80s. Like, I can picture somebody working out with weights, wearing these, and a really big baggy Gold's Gym tank top on the beach while there's volleyball playing in the back town. Alexis said Venice Beach. Close, very close.
I need these pants my size for our cruise. I will wear them on Catalina Island.
No.
With my cruise t-shirt.
No.
Why not? No. You can't stop me. You can't stop me.
You'd be going on this cruise alone. We're going to be leaving you behind. I am not.
Not going to happen. All right, next up, I had to show this because Vicky always says that she can never.
I can't give these
sell
away.
Dickies jackets, and I did sell this, and it was actually it went overseas, and it went to a repeat buyer, and guess what they bought for me the last time?
Another Dickies jacket?
Yes.
Weirdo.
So this is a nice big 3XL,
4XL.
4XL Dickies jacket, and so I probably paid like maybe $4 or $5 for it because it's pretty big. But it was nice. It was going overseas, so I didn't have to pay the shipping on a heavier jacket. Although nowadays, I feel like with the ground advantage for stuff over a pound, I'm really liking it.
It's better
it's much better than
it's better than Cubic, and it's better than Priority.
Well, it's cubic ground, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but the cubic ground, obviously, it takes longer.
I
But
care.
I'm going to say, I don't have it on all of my listings yet, but I do use a flat shipping thing on eBay. I don't care about the other platforms. It's irrelevant. You ship whatever way you want on other platforms, or I do anyway. But on eBay, I'm going to change so that mine just all say standard shipping because, Priority, I'm not shipping it Priority if it's $5 cheaper to ship it, via ground. And that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've never had a problem.
I'm actually making all my mine just ground advantage. I'm like, I don't care because that's pretty much always going to be, I'm never going to go lower than that.
Right, and then if you upgrade it, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm never going to go lower than that. So
it gives an accurate ship estimate as far as the time, but yeah.
All right.
So
what did you with your satin bomber jackets?
So this was also a bins buy, but I've had this one for a while. I would say Crystal probably listed this one or photographed this one. So I've had this one, at least 6 to 8 months, maybe a little longer. This was a very popular nightclub in the Bahamas. And funny thing is that the person that purchased it, they don't live in the Bahamas, but the person that purchased it, their last name is Bahama.
That's funny.
I thought that was kind of funny.
It's very funny. All right. Next up for me. So this is not a big sale, but guys, I already sold my Bat Boy t-shirt. Bat Boy the Musical. Just like I like to buy kids stuff sometimes. Also, sometimes it's something that just makes me laugh. And even though I don't think I'm going to make any money on it, I can't resist picking it up at the bins. And if this would have been my size, I would have probably kept it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But Bat Boy the Musical.
Thank goodness for small favors.
I only had it listed for like a week, and Grailed, I don't do free shipping on Grailed, so they paid for their label, and probably after fees and everything, I made at least $20, which I figured that like now it takes me about 10 minutes total maybe for each item, and that's from sourcing to processing to photographs, measurements, listing it, and shipping it. So $20, I will take it. But Bat Boy the Musical, it's going to be on its way to a new home on Tuesday.
Woo-hoo.
How dare you? How dare you? Which, by the way, Bat Boy the Musical, the soundtrack, you can find it on Spotify right now.
Oh, aren't we lucky? Aren't we
What's
lucky? This is just, this was a bins buy. I have purchased Gucci at the bins. I've purchased Chanel at the bins. I've purchased Prada at the bins. And this is Valentino. Now, this is kind of a very 90s Valentino style, late 80s, early 90s. Again, you can see the rolled hand-sewn hems. You can tell that it's silk. It's really pretty. You can tell when you find quality, you'll know.
Yeah.
And before people like ask, is it genuine? Is it genuine? When you understand the differences between genuine and fake, and you know how things feel and what quality feels like, you're not going to be fooled by fakes. But again, it's not even a weighable amount. It maybe cost 20 cents.
Yeah.
Overall. So it sold for $90, and I've had it listed probably about 6 months or so. Did I steam it? No. Like, you can tell this was all rolled up. Someone had used it, like tied it wherever they had been using it, and it was donated to the bins as is. It's silk. Of course it's going to be all wrinkly, but I sold it. I sold it just the way it is. I'm not dealing with that.
Just the way it is. Mm-hmm. All right, next up for me is this Tennessee Volunteers sweatshirt. I picked this. Now, this one I know exactly where I picked it up from. I got it from our buddy Alex, Mishmash Vintage in Colorado when we were there last time with the Roots and everybody else. And which that trip, I think, when I figure out the average I paid per item was like $6 or $7. I definitely paid a little bit more for this, but I averaged out my whole cost of everything for the whole trip. And sold this for $63. Nice. I bought mostly t-shirts from him, but there were a handful of sweatshirts that I picked up, and I really liked the way this one looked.
And we have our next trip coming up in 2 months.
I know. We're going to Texas, y'all. We're going to Texas in April. And
we've got our group Airbnb, and all the same people that we were in Colorado with, and a couple extras are coming. Yuri is one of them. Yuri in the chat. I'm so excited. It's a really nice time. If you have reseller friends, as we all seem to do, and you have the opportunity to take a sourcing trip with reseller friends, do it.
Well, we're doing another one in like August with a totally different group of people. That's part of like a whole nother thing, but it's going to be really fun. So, all right, next up for you. Ooh.
I've had this forever. I'm not even going to lie. This came from the buyout of the Clothing Vault, which was the store owned by Amanda and Clara that own List Perfectly. At the end of October in 2020, they stopped selling anything. Well, it stopped a while before that, but they got rid of the remainder of their inventory, and I was the one that was able to acquire it. And drove to Phoenix and filled up a van and everything. So this took quite a while to sell, and I'm going to say there's a couple of reasons why. I actually used their photos that were listed because it was much easier to do it that way. And this is actually a very gray coat. So I don't know how long it was listed previously, but the photos definitely give it a green tint. So I had, I don't know how many messages asking me about the true color of this coat over the past few years. Yeah. And I should have retaken photos. So I'm going to say right now, I absolutely should have retaken photos on this instead of using their original photos. As good as the photos are, the color contrast was wrong.
Right.
So it had too much yellowing in it.
Yep.
So it made it look green. I think if it had been an accurate gray, it would have sold faster. In any case, it took forever to flip and sell. It sold. It's done.
It took forever to flip and flip.
Yeah. And it sold for $85, but it sold on Poshmark, which, yay, now I don't have to worry about putting a big bulky coat in anything and trying to worry about keeping it under a certain weight. I just know it's under 5 pounds. It fits. It's fine.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, next up for me, I did not sell this for this price. This is the Derby of San Francisco jacket that I picked up at the bins not very long ago. And these jackets, they can sell for a lot. But one of the issues I had when I got it home is I realized like how many flaws it had, and it had had some major issues. Both pockets were ripped inside, so neither of the pockets were complete. They could probably be fixed, but whatever. And it also had like some discoloration. You can see the staining here. And I washed it. It didn't make any difference. Missing a button. So it had quite a few issues. And so I still priced it up. I would have priced it even higher. I probably would have priced it more like $250 if it didn't have all these issues.
Now, by the way, that's not her title. I just want you guys to know that when you sell on Depop, if you're not a Depop seller, Depop just creates this 2 or 3 word title for you based on whatever you export or import over there. You cannot make your title look any nicer.
My title's right here, basically.
That's just so you know, that's what it does. And Depop is not a U.S. company, so it's always going to have gray, B-G-R-E-Y, instead of G-R-A-Y. And both are acceptable, but A-Y is the, Americanized spelling. That's what's distinctive is that lining, right? So if you see something with that lining.
If you see something with that lining, I mean, this is the well, I don't know if this does not show the tag.
Well, you only had 4 photos, babe.
Oh, well, you have 8 photos.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, you can barely see the tag there. But yes, when you see that lining, you know it's a Derby jacket. So I sold it for $85. And I was happy with that because honestly, like I said, it was in a lot worse condition than I thought it was going to be in the end. And so $85 is fair. And I was still happy with that sale. Mm-hmm. And you sold this without going to jail.
Well, this is not a bootleg.
But it doesn't matter. They would still, I'm sure, go around taking stuff down.
They took 1 down. But anyway, this sold for the price you see there. It sold for $60. It actually sold within a couple of days. I did pick this up at the bins. I paid less than $1 for it. Be very careful. Taylor Swift will Vero, maybe not her. I'm sure she's not on the internet, taking down listings. However, they do Vero very quickly. I did have another, oh crap, and I do see that there's a flaw there, and I did not note that flaw. In the description.
It's in the picture.
It is, but it's not in the description. Anyway, and there's only 3 photos. Whatever. It is what it is. So I did have another one that I picked up the bins the same day that I found several others online. So I just copied their titles and listed that. It was taken down with a Vero within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So that one was not a license. That one was not licensed. This one is licensed, or they would have taken this one down too.
But I will say there's still a certain amount of risk when you're dealing with a company or a brand that is super trigger happy. It's just like selling new with tags, North Face. There's certain things that like you want to be careful with, or at least go into it knowing there's a good chance you're going to get your listing taken down. All right. Last one. So this is Poshmark. Now again, Poshmark. I had a lot of sales last week, and I had a decent amount this week. But I wanted to show this because I got this at the bins, and I just thought it looked cool. It's a hoodie. Not the sleeves are just sleeveless. It's not cut off. I actually wasn't able to find any real information on this. I just thought it looked cool, and so I priced it accordingly, and I ended up selling it for $50. Ridiculous. Even with the Google, I was not really able to find for sure what exactly this was. So I just used keywords based off of the graphic and sold it for $50. But I did want to show real quick, for whatever reason, so these are actually my solds on eBay. I wanted to show you guys, I sold this Nick and Nora pajama bottoms, the Kurt Cobain pajamas. I priced it high. I've had it since way before Christmas. And I've sent out lots of offers for $100. Whoops. And I ended up selling it to somebody for $80 overseas. And it ships out on Tuesday. But when I wanted to show it to you guys, look at this, really weird. The listing's not there anymore. It's still in my solds. All the information is there. eBay. So I don't know why it's not there. But I wanted to show you, like, I did sell them. And I can't really show you anything about it. Where did I find these? I found these at the bins. So, and let me tell you, I looked real hard trying to find the top, because if I had the top, because all the pictures are him wearing the top. So if I had the full set, I would have been able to sell it probably for well over $300.
When I found the full set that I found many years ago, I got them at a thrift store in California. I still remember finding them, and I remember not knowing that it was anything other than a nice Nick and Nora set of pajamas. I listed them and sold them for $60, and immediately, I think it was Bridget DeSimone, one of our watchers, Bridget, had sent me a message, and or said it in our chat, and she was like, don't sell them for that. Cancel and take the hit. You sold them too cheap. You need to look them up.
Yeah.
And I did. So she was the one that taught me that. I didn't realize what they were. I know now, and now I've seen it mentioned many times by other people, but at the time I didn't know it. So I took the hit. I took the defect for canceling the sale, because I turned around, relisted them properly, and sold them for like $400. Yeah, I'm not taking that kind of hit ever. I'm sorry. There's lots of people that will tell you otherwise, especially if you're in certain groups, or certain YouTubers will say, if you make the mistake, you own that mistake and just ship it to the customer. Fuck that. This is your money and your business. If you want to do that, that's on you. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if you make a mistake and it's costing you money out of your pocket, you are never under any obligation to fulfill that sale or that order. This is your business. Now, you will take a defect if you cancel it on eBay. If it's worth the defect for you, there's a reason why. You have a certain margin of error allowed to you on your account. I mean, if you take a defect for something and you take the hit for it, then do that. For me, I'm not taking a $300 hit for anyone. That's not it's not a charity. I'm running a business. So you go ahead and do that. But
it's one of those things where in our business, there's certain things that are risky, certain things that are low level risk, high level risk. As long as you know what those risks are and you go into it with open eyes, it's like, canceling for out of stock basically, or for whatever reason that's going to get you a defect. If you do it too many times, it's going to get you.
Right.
And so you need to be aware of that and not just do it willy nilly. Because I know people who just kind of do it a lot, and they're like, oh, why did I get suspended for
I can count on one hand how many times I've done it, but I have done it more than once.
Yeah.
I'm not infallible. I don't know everything about everything. Nobody does. And I don't have the time to look up every single item.
No.
Usually I go on instinct. And for anything else, Nick and Nora, getting $50 or $60 for a set of pajamas is actually perfectly fine and good. I would have accepted that on any other thing. The fact that these were, these holy grail pajamas, I didn't know at the time. Now I know I won't make that mistake again. But, there's no way to always know. Every once in a while, you'll sell something too quick. And I think we've all done that. You're like, why'd that sell so fast?
Yep.
And then you go look it up. And if you realize you've made a significant mistake, then just cancel the sale, take the hit, and relist it at the right price. Yeah, unless you're willing to take that. I mean, if there's a $10 difference or $20 difference, no, I don't consider that significant. I'll eat it at that point. But if it's something big, I absolutely will take the hit. I'm not running a charity. I'm trying to make money to pay my bills, this is a business. So don't beat yourself up about that. If it's something you need to do, just know that you will get a defect on eBay. On any other platform, you can cancel anything with no repercussions. I'm not saying you should do it all the time. I'm sure there's some average based on how many things you list. However, it's not as harsh as it is on eBay.
Yeah. I think you should definitely be careful, because I do think on some of the other platforms, at a certain point, if you're doing it too much,
I'm sure.
there's a problem. But yeah, so you want to be careful with that kind of stuff. All right, so getting into the last part of our show, we're already past 3:00, past the hour mark, but because we had a lot of stuff to talk about at the beginning.
We're
but
gabbers.
As far as our goals that we set last time, I know I have continued since December 12th. Every single day without a single day missed. I have listed 10 new listings on eBay. I'm only focusing on eBay for that, but because I'm doing that, it's driving me to list more overall anyway, so it is adding more to all of my other platforms. I'm continuing to boost all my listings on Depop, and like I said, I am seeing a difference. I'm seeing a difference in my traffic. I'm seing a difference in my number of items sold per month. I'm seeing a difference in my sales. It's not a huge overnight change. Like at this point, I've been doing it, it was November 12th because it was 50 days of last year that I did it. So November 12th. So, I mean, I've been doing it now for almost 100 days, if not 100 days. And it's not an overnight, suddenly you're making $1 bazillion more, but I'm seeing it. There's a slow,
you're seeing it. I'm not seeing it up for me.
I'm seeing it. There's a slow climb.
So I've been doing the same. A minimum of 15 new listings every single day. We're working old listings on top of that. I do not count those in the new listings. They're just reworked and re-optimized listings with new photos, new titles, new pricing. I'm not seeing the increase. In fact, I had probably a $5,000 drop between December and January's numbers. I made $5,000 more in December than I did in January, and we were gone for 2 weeks out of December. So, I'm not seeing the increase. I'm still sticking with it. Don't get me wrong. And
Is
I'm
your
gonna
90 days
I'm
still
gonna
up?
Huh?
Is your 90
No.
days still up?
No, because I had such a significant drop last month and so far this month.
Okay.
My traffic is actually down 30% over the last 30 days on eBay.
Yeah. See, my traffic in the green. I think
my traffic in the view, of course, it's in the red. It says it's down 30%. My traffic and my views are both down. My views are down 20-something%, and my traffic is down 35%. Why that is, I don't know. I do know that the consumer spending report from January just came out in general, and retail consumer spending was down for the month of January significantly, and significantly more down than they anticipated as a drop from Q4. So, and I'm not talking just eBay, I'm talking worldwide or US wide anyway, consumer spending as a whole.
Maybe women are being more careful with their spending than men are.
Well, in general, I do believe that women are the primary buyers and shoppers for anything in the household. That's a fact. Women do make most of the monetary decisions in the household, and as far as purchases and extraneous purchases as well. So that's some of it, I'm sure. But, like anything else, I don't really understand the entire market and why it changes and what's changing about it. But it is what it is. We just got to keep finding different ways to market and sell our items. It is not as easy as it once was. You have to be on multiple platforms. You have to know how to advertise. You have to diversify. And by advertise, I mean try and sell yourself and your product and your brand, but you also have to learn when and how to use strategic promotions, whether it's promoted listings on eBay or boosting listings on Depop.
Never pay per click.
Yeah, pay-per-click is garbage. Don't use pay-per-click on eBay. Don't use pay-per-click anywhere if you can help it. It is never, ever, ever going to be worth it when you are paying an amount that is so arbitrary and you cannot record where those clicks are coming from, and there's no data to back it up.
And there's no guarantee of any sale.
I'm going to tell you, pay-per-click is never, ever, ever going to be worth it.
So now that is called promoted listings Advanced. That's the pay per click. And I got to tell you guys, because eBay does have influencers do social media posts and reels to help push whatever is the new thing that they want to be pushed. And I got to tell you, I am disappointed in some of the influencers that I have seen pushing promoted listings advanced, because I think it is garbage for sellers. eBay is still my number one platform. I am happy, hesitantly happy to use regular promoted listings. I don't like having to pay more to have my stuff sold, but I understand it's the nature of the game. and I'm going to do it. I'm at 8% right now for my promoted listings, but I think promoted listings advanced and pay-per-click is absolute garbage, and it is not good for sellers at all. And actually, I don't think it's good for buyers either. And so I'm pretty disappointed to see influencers on social media, on Instagram, and different places.
And there are many influencers.
I'm just saying, I don't like seeing it push.
It's a new thing in the last year and a half or so that eBay is now paying influencers on social media, such as TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, to promote certain eBay items. And they do all disclose that it is a paid affiliate or paid partnership program, which is the law, and they do have to do that. Now, certain things about eBay that I think that, helping to bring that to light to people that actually are on these platforms and sellers on that platform makes a lot of sense. And there are certain people that do it that we know that we're very close with, and I appreciate. Go get your money, get that hustle on.
My criticism is not about doing. I would please eBay pay me to promote stuff that I believe in. I'm just saying I do not like seeing it. You cannot tell me that the people who are pushing it have used it with success and are honestly pushing it because they think it's helpful to sellers. And I don't think it's helpful to buyers because it's basically pushing people to spam. To use keyword spam, so that what ends up happening is you're searching for stuff and you're getting results that have nothing to do with what you actually want to buy, and that's frustrating for buyers and it's crap for sellers, and I don't like it.
The reality is a lot of people, and I'm going to go on my little rant here for 1 minute, and then we can get rid of it.
I was ranting. Excuse me.
A lot of people say, old school sellers that are have been hesitant to go on to different platforms because eBay is it's the devil, right? And they're like, oh, this is too expensive, and that's too expensive, and selling on Poshmark is too expensive, and selling here. First of all, Mercari and eBay are almost the same. However, you are not paying for promoted listings or pay-per-click on Mercari. So therefore, Mercari is cheaper. Etsy has not raised their fees in a bazillion years. I think they raised them by 0.5 percentage point like 3 years ago, and still the lowest out there.
They have the outside ads, but whatever.
And my other thing that I'm going to say is Poshmark may be 20%, but you're not paying to list. You're not paying to maintain a store. You are not paying taxes. You are not paying that 20% on the shipping fee. You're not paying that 20% on the taxes. You are paying 20% only on the item when it sells. Yeah. And you're getting your shipping label up to 5 pounds, where you don't need to worry about what kind of packaging you're putting it in. And the other thing, I'm telling you right now, my eBay, I'm paying 19% in fees on eBay before I even get into shipping and cost of goods and paying for labor. So where eBay used to only be that 13 to 15%, it's 19% plus now. And that's been in the last 3 to 5 years that it's grown a minimum of 10% that they've been taking in more in fees and costs. So that's the reality of where we're sitting on that platform now. Now, if you are working with very small margins, or you're only a very part-time seller, eBay is no longer the platform for you. If you're working on small margins, you better take a good hard look at your costs, because what you may not know or understand about your business may be costing you big money.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say about that. And then here's the other thing too. I'm going to say, now that feedback has changed as much as it has on eBay and will continue to change to the detriment of sellers, it is no longer behooves a seller to list with free shipping. It no longer behooves a seller to list with free shipping and free returns, because there is absolutely zero benefit for you to do that. What it used to do was give you a top-rated seller or top-rated plus, and top-rated plus with free returns noted in their listing of 330 or 60-day returns, you were able to get a bigger percentage off your, a discount off your final value fees. They kind of took that away. They took away the eBay, the promoted listing credit that was available for top tier sellers. And then they have also taken away, that used to be a guarantee. If you offered free shipping and you got a negative feedback, you were able to have it removed 9 out of 10 times. That is no longer the case. So therefore, all of these benefits that used to come with being a top-rated seller are no longer benefits. So stop eating money, stop giving eBay or other platforms money out of your pocket, because it is no longer a benefit for you to do that.
Bottom line is, we'll always tell you like the different tools that you can use and what's beneficial, what's not, what you should reluctantly use, because even though it's a pain in the ass and it's costing you money, it's going to help your sales, things like promoted listings. But I'm just saying, I am very disappointed, because I think that promoted listings advanced is an awful new thing at eBay. And I don't think it helps anyone. I think it takes more money. And I don't like seeing influencers pretending that it is great and pushing it, because to me, it means you can no longer trust that anything they say is actually the truth, because it's not actually coming from true experience and what's actually helping their businesses. I don't like it, guys. And then one other thing about feedback, you need to also be very careful about which feedback you try to get removed, because what they're doing now is sometimes they're only removing the text of the feedback, but leaving the bad feedback itself.
You still have the red donut.
Now, the reason why this is problematic, let's say somebody leaves you feedback and they sound like a nutcase, and you go, oh, I want to try and get this removed. Maybe they're swearing in it. Maybe they're saying something completely crazy. Well, they'll go ahead and they'll remove like the text of it because it goes against terms of service. But they'll leave the negative itself, and then now somebody comes
because that's a buyer's opinion. And
now somebody comes and looks at your feedback, and all they're going to see is you got a negative, and it can be for any reason. I would rather them read a crazy rant and something that doesn't make sense, or something that makes the buyer look stupid because whatever their reason is, than just have it be a negative.
It also removes your reply.
Yes.
So if you reply to the negative feedback, which you should always do, reply to the negative feedback in a calm and reasonable manner. I may not always do that, but you should. Do as I say, not as I do.
Good mom.
Yeah, but always reply factually and to the point where, I'll try to make a little bit of a dig and make my buyer look like an asshole if they are one.
That just makes me not like the seller, so I wouldn't do that.
Meh, whatever. But at this point, I'm not even going to try to get items removed, because I would rather somebody see my reply, whether it's a good reply, or it should be a good reply. I would rather have them see my reply to whatever they said, defending myself or stating the facts, than just have the red donut, because that helps nobody.
Yeah, Susan, we don't have control over that. For whatever reason, the new eBay, they like to leave all the negative feedback. Now, I will say one good thing, because Vikki was very upset about a ridiculous amount of negative feedback she's gotten recently. I will say, if you go to a seller's profile to look at their feedback, it's automatically sorted by most relevant. And so most likely it's not going to have that negative at the top. Like if you go look at Vikki's store and look at her feedback, it'll say like her feedback is 99 point whatever % positive.
Susan, this is a very new thing, by the way. You have not had feedbacks removed recently. Yeah. I'm willing to guarantee in the last week or two, it's become much harder for everyone.
But anyway, if you go to Vikki's feedback page, you'll see it says 99 point whatever % positive. And then when you actually go to look at the feedback, it is pre-sorted by relevant, and the top ones are all positive. Like there isn't even a negative on the first page. So you would have to, a buyer would have to go in and actually look for all feedback, sort by whatever.
Except when you're on mobile, when you look at the seller's feedback, you can click on their negative feedback, and not only will it sort the negative feedback, it goes much further back than 12 months, which your desktop never does. It will show you all the negative feedback they've ever received, and it does not show their replies to the negative feedback.
Good times. Good times. Anyway, we went off on a little rant here, guys. Thanks for sticking with us through that. But anyway, as far as goals and things, one of the other goals that we had set, I had challenged Vikki to reading a book because she loves to read. In the past, she's been a voracious reader, but she hadn't really read anything in quite a while. And so I challenged her to actually read a book. And we ended up going to the library because we actually have a library very close to us. I have had a library card from the Henderson Library, which is right outside of Las Vegas. I've had that card for years now because I would use it to get ebooks and comic books and stuff like that. But we live right by a library, so we went there. I finally got Vikki her first library card in who knows how long.
Because my Rhode Island library card, I think I had from the time I was a little kid.
She was going to try it. She was like, oh, I can just check mine out with yours. I'm like, no, you need to get your own card, because I wanted to set her up to actually, because she does read on a Kindle app and stuff. And I'm like, you need to be set up with your own so that you can actually go and check out books online. But we actually checked out a few actual books. Mm-hmm. I read, one of the books I was reading that was an ebook was The Troop. And then I read, I'm Thinking of Ending Things. I read that all in like one day, that book in one day. Halfway through, I realized I had watched the Netflix movie. So I'm like, this seems really familiar. And then right now, I just started a little while, like this last week, I started House of Leaves. But that's like a really dense book. It's going to take me quite a while to read it. It's not one of those ones that you can just blow right through. But I'm really enjoying it so far. You read, what have you read?
I read one complete book, and I am midway through 2 others.
Okay. So you're working your way through?
Yeah. I mean, I have one of them that's super dense, like you said. It's a true crime novel. It's like an Anne Rule, but not Anne Rule. It's like this thick soft cover, and it's all procedural and not a lot of dialogue. So it's pretty dense. So that one's going to take me a bit to get through, and I'm going back and forth between that one and a little bit of a lighter read on legal thriller. Yeah,
so we need to do better, though, because we're not reading every day. We need to be reading more. Sometimes it's just easier to like veg out and watch TV, but and plus we like to hang out together. So like Vicky will she'll quit work early and go read, and then she's done reading, and then I'd like to read, but I'd like to read later in the day, but then I'd have to go in another room because she's watching TV. So we're still trying to like kind of figure out that balance.
Well, if I start work at 8 o'clock in the morning and I happen to be done by 1 or 2 with everything I need to do for the day, I'm not going to sit in my office for another 4 hours just because you do.
I didn't tell you to. I was just, it's just a logistical thing. Just a logistical thing. What I really need is to get like some true noise canceling headphones that like I can't hear anything.
I have some in the cabinet
that cover my ears and you can't hear anything. Okay,
I use them for school.
And you can't hear anything?
I used to have to study when I was in nursing school, and I needed
Bust those out.
I needed to use those to study because they were so bad.
I want to hang out with her, but I don't want to watch the TV show she's watching. But I want to read. So anyway, so we're gonna keep reading. I'm gonna keep doing my daily stuff. I need to be going to the bins more, so I'm gonna try to go to the bins like twice this week. Because that really is my best form of sourcing.
And I have no reason to source for at least another month or so. Also, because we're going to see Lorna. By the way, Lorna's in the chat. We're going to see Lorna in 10 days. We will be in Washington visiting with Lorna and Squim. But I have no reason to source until we go with her when we're there. We're going to do a little sourcing, I'm sure, not a ton, just for fun. But I still have so much stuff from my buyout that I have not done anymore, and I don't really need to.
But I need to be going to the bins more. I had a really pretty decent bins visit on Friday, I think it was, and so we'll be doing a haul video at some point this week. I got some good stuff there, and so but I just need to up that a little bit because it's like the stuff's right there, the money's hanging out right there. I just need to be going more.
You need to get off your butt and just go.
I need to go. Well, it's like
you could be like Jesse, go every morning and spend 45 minutes and then come home.
I know. I should be doing that more, for sure.
We're going to be in Squim. There are no bins there, Kat, in Washington.
There's like a Goodwill.
There's a Goodwill, and I think there's another thrift store that's not too far. We'll probably have to go to, Port Townsend, I think we have to go to.
I think they have bins in Washington somewhere, but not.
They do, but not where we're going to be. We're going to be in Lorna lives in a very remote area of Washington that's very close to the, close to Canada, I think, but.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, so that's the plan, guys. Let us know in the chat, in the comments down below, what books you've been reading. Tell us what your favorite snacks to sneak into the movie theater are. All that stuff.
All I know is I'm kind of bummed that I'm not going to this movie because I'm not getting any movie popcorn, and I'm going to have to make my own dinner.
Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it?
Life, I'll tell you, man.
But you don't even the making your own dinner. It's like you already have all the ingredients because what we did last night is we had these really yummy taco egg rolls. So all you have to do is pull out the egg rolls,
TikTok recipe.
The meat, everything's. I made the sauce for you last night. Everything's already pre-done. All you literally have to do is put the stuff on your little egg rolls, roll them up, and put them in the air fryer.
Just ask Alexis. It's too much work.
She was gonna make them last night, but she wanted to skip a lot of the steps, and finally, I was like, "Fine, get out of there. I will do it. Get out. Get out of my way. Let me do it." Ridiculous. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Sorry this ran over so long.
Oh, see, Tara Thrifts just came home from the movies.
That's what I'm doing tonight.
That's what Katie's going to see tonight.
That's why we were talking about it, because I'm actually going with our friend Dana tonight to go see Lisa Frankenstein. So I'm very excited, and I got to stop at the Walgreens and pick up some cheap candy.
Kathy Mack, we're going to be doing a very short trip. We're only there for 3 nights, and it's really just to spend time with Lorna. So it's not a thrifting trip. We'll get into a little bit of thrifting one day, as much as she's able to handle based on her health and everything.
Napping, we'll go out by
ourselves. Or maybe while she's napping, we'll see what we can find. But we're just going to visit.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. We love you. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Be on the lookout for a haul video sometime later this week, and we will see you later.
Bye.
Bye.